Okay, everyone. So just like an object can have methods bound to it, which are basically these functions that we create that we um, hook onto a property of the object. Even primitive data types, such as strings and numbers, have methods and properties too, for that matter, bound to them. And these methods and properties, they exist for a number of different reasons. And the main reason is basically that we want to, for some reason, manipulate uh, the the value that we receive, and it can be everything from converting one data type into another to, in regard of a string, for example, turn all the letters into capital letters or to lowercase letters, from both from a aesthetic point of view, but as well as a method for comparing different strings so that they are all in the same format, and we won't get any comparison issues when we try to compare capital letters to lowercase letters, for example. In the case of a number, it can be that we want to round down a number, round up a number, or remove decimals from a number. There are also methods that turn numbers into exponentials, and lots of different things that we can do. So I think that the best thing to do is just to start to show some of these methods. And I think I will start off by going over some methods related to strings. And the first thing I will do here is just basically create a simple string. First, a string. Hi, I'm a string, and I can do stuff. And then with this string, then if I would like to, for example, turn all of these characters in the string into capital letters, I would hook on a method to the string called toUpperCase. And to show this, I will console.log out this to our Chrome console. And then I would here do simply a string, which is the name of our variable, dot to uppercase. And since it's a method that we're calling, we have to add on this parentheses here at the end. And if I save this and I refresh, it's okay, we can see that hi, I'm a string and I can do stuff had all been turned into capital letters or uppercase characters. I could just as easy turn them all into lowercase characters. Console.log string dot to lowercase. And when I save this and refresh, we should see that all of them are turned in to lowercase characters here. There is also ways to manipulate strings, like removing parts of the string, for example. So if I, for example, would like to just write out hi, I'm a string, then I and not this and I can do stuff, then I would simply write out I would use a method called slice, for example, and I would do a string dot slice, And this slice method, it takes parameters, and these parameters basically tells us which of the characters I want to slice out from the string by submitting the position of the character. So if it's hi I'm a string I want, then 0 is the starting point, so that's our first parameter, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 or 16 maybe. So now I would just give the parameters like this, 0 and 16, and if I save this and refresh, we can see that I just get returned here, hi, I'm a string. There is also quite an useful property of a string that's not a method, so we don't call it the same way, but it works quite similarly, and it's not a method in the case of that it doesn't actually manipulate the string or convert it. It's more like a property, and it's called length, and that's how we can actually count the length of the string, so how many characters there are in the string. And it's very easy to use, and we just do this by we just take a string, our string variable here, and then just write dot length. And since this is not a method but a property, we don't give it supply it with parentheses afterwards, since it's not a function call. We just want to check the length property of the string. So then we just submit it like this. And if I refresh now, we will see that it's 34 characters in total in this string here. Just as strings have methods, even numbers have methods, and they can also be useful to know about, and it can also be useful to manipulate numbers in some regards, especially for removing decimals and stuff like that. Can be for customer web shops and stuff like that. After doing calculations on prices, you maybe don't want to print out a figure with 10 decimals to the customer. So then could be good to know how to round it down. But I will start here with create a new variable here called a number. And I will set this equal to 5.99. And then what I would do here, if I want to, for example, make this to remove all the decimals from it, I would use a method called toFixed, and it's not just used to remove decimals, but simply telling how many decimals I want to show. So to use this, I simply write the variable a number dot to fixed, and this takes a parameter, and it basically, the parameter here that we give it is to specify how many decimals we want to show. So if I put a 0 here and save this and refresh, we can see that we get 6, since it takes 0 decimals and then it rounds it up to the nearest full number. If I would take 1 here, it would give it 1 decimal. So if I would save this we will get 6.0 since it rounds it up and takes it to the nearest decimal. If I would take 2, it would give it 2 decimals, 5.99. And imagine in a web shop, after doing a calculation on prices, you have something like this. Then it could be very useful to just round it down into the 2 closest decimals. So like this, 5.99. What we also can do with numbers is that we can, for example, turn them into exponentials. So if I would do console.log and then take a number and then hook on the to exponential method, we would get this number returned in exponential form, which you can see here that we get it e plus 0 there on the end of it. To be fair, I have never used this method, but it can be good to know about. And there are tons of these different methods for numbers and strings that you can learn more about and read about, and they all have different use cases and can be all of them can be good in different types of situations. The last thing I'm going to show in this video is how we can convert data types into other data types. So basically how we can turn a string into a number and a number into a string. So I will start with creating a new variable here that will call the number string, and it will be equal to a string with, well, a number in it, but it's still just a string. So this is not a number, this is of data type string. And then I will basically convert this string here into a number, and I could just console.log out this with the method like we've done here through this entire video, but I will actually, for the sake of being able to show you the type of the actual data type of the variable after we've changed it, I will take another approach. So I will first create a new variable here that I will call now number, and I will then take this string here and use the parseInt method and through that method convert it into a number. And you write this a little bit differently. You don't write now a number and then .parseInt, but you actually write the parseInt method immediately, and then the parseInt method takes the number as a parameter. So it takes number string as a parameter. And now if we console.log out type of now a number, we should get number back in the console. And if I refresh this, we can see that we get number here. So our string here, number string, has now, when assigned to this new variable, now a number, been converted into a number. And this can be useful to do for different reasons, especially when you have to do calculations and stuff on different numbers when you are giving the numbers in string form from the start, and it can be very good to know how to convert them. So because you can't do arithmetic calculations on strings. So that's how you convert a string into a number. We can also convert a number into a string. So I will create a new constant here, const, and I will call it number. And this is equal to a number now instead. And I will take the same approach as before, but now I will call const now a string. And this time we actually use the more conventional method that we have used here, that we take the variable and then through concatenation we hook on the method. So I take number dot, and then this method is called toString. And then save that. And then I want to console.logout the type of now string. Type of now a string. Save this, refresh, and we can see that we get string printed out here at the bottom. So our number here has, through the toString method, been converted into a string when it's been assigned to the now a string variable, and when it's console.logout here through with the while we check the type, we see that it's of the string data type now. That's the last thing we're going to show today. And as I mentioned before, there are tons of these methods that you can use to manipulate primitive values. And I urge you to look up some other methods for yourself and see just how much you can do with all of these primitive values and data types. And there are always different use cases that you will run into where most of them can be good to have knowledge about.